If you want your dream job in interior design or that client that truly understands your design style, you need an absolutely stellar design portfolio. Because portfolios are not just a collection of pretty projects, it is the physical ticket to you getting that job, that client, or that opportunity that you have been absolutely dreaming of. And the best part is that you can build one even if you've never had a client. In this video, I'm going to explain what a design portfolio is, how to cater it towards different audiences, what actually needs to be in it, and what to do if you are starting from zero. Before we jump into it though, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe if you'd like to be a part of more design adventures. Interior design portfolios are pretty much visual resumes. It's a curated document that is filled with some of your best work to showcase your processes, your skills, and your personal style as an interior designer. It's actually pretty common within most creative industries to have a visual resume like this, so it is not design specific. And it is great if you are applying for an internship or a job or trying to branch out to a different clientele, but it's still really good to have even if you are not at that stage yet, because you never know when an opportunity will come knocking. If you're just starting out in the industry, your design portfolio is going to look drastically different to that of a professional designer. And it's all simply just because of the contents that are within it. If you look at a professional designer's work, you'll often see that they have professionally done photography of the final space, maybe some construction drawings and really nice elevations as well. Whereas if you're just starting out, you're going to be using things that you may have gotten from your time in studying. So that might include concept material or mood boards. It might include 3D renderings of the projects that you created, elevations, and other construction drawings. So although there is a little bit of a difference, it is just showing where your level is as a designer. And if you've done a lot of things on piece of paper and it hasn't been through the computer, that is totally okay. Just make sure you take really good photography of it, or even try and scan it if that's possible. Before you start your design portfolio, ask yourself this question: who is this for? If the answer is a large-scale building company or a boutique design firm, that answer will dictate what you choose to put in as your first project in your portfolio. Because as we all know, first impressions matter. If you have something that does not relate to the place that you're applying to, they're just going to assume that you're probably not the right fit. So even if it's not your absolute best piece of work, I would recommend going with the piece of work that goes best with the company that you're applying to. It is actually very common for many designers to have multiple different versions of their portfolio with everything rearranged. Of course, you do want to still put in the things that you're most proud of first, but if you are applying for something very specific, you should be showing that first, even if it's not always your best piece of work. Let's go over some of the essentials that you need in your design portfolio. First of all, only show your best work. This is super important because you want to feel confident and proud of what you're showcasing to somebody else. Now, of course, sometimes there are occasions like the one that I experienced where you have to do it as a project for school and you have to put in a specific skill set that you're not very good at. For me, that was actually making little dioramas. I absolutely hated doing that personally, and I had to put that in my design portfolio at the time, and I did not want to show that to anyone. So make sure that you actually showcase the things that you genuinely do really like. And even if your portfolio is a little shorter, preferably no less than 3 projects short, then that's okay because you're showcasing your best skills and where you're currently at. The next thing is to keep it clean. You want at least 1/3 of the page to have white space. Why do you want to do this? Well, it allows your eyes to rest and also allows your eyes to focus in on what the actual focal point is, which is your project. So keep it really simple and minimalist and elegant. I know that this can be hard for people that are a little bit more maximalistic like myself. However, in saying that, you want your work to shine, not the pretty things all around it. So keep it very simple, very elegant. Keep all the text sizes and all of the fonts and colors consistent throughout the entire project. Don't go mixing it up. Just keep it very, very simple. Allow your work to do the actual talking. Another thing that needs to be shown with every single project is just a short description. The description is there to obviously give them some context, explain your thinking and how you got there, and why you made certain design choices. It does not need to be very big. Sometimes, usually, it's only like one paragraph in an entire page, so it doesn't need to be super extensive, it just needs to give context. And lastly, if you're going to put in technical drawings, make sure that they are to scale because they do check. And the best part about this is if you do it to scale, it just showcases that you're refined and that you're doing all of those small details that people do genuinely care about, especially when it comes to that technical side of things. It's not all just about things looking pretty, it's also about being accurate. Now, this one is certainly an optional one, but it is great for people who are just starting out or coming in from a different industry. And this is just the creative add-on section. So if you have another hobby like painting or photography or something else that is creative that still likens towards design, you should actually be incorporating it at the very end of your portfolio. Only use a page or two, it doesn't need to be super extensive or large, but it does give you a little bit more credibility in the sense that you are very creative and you can do it in different mediums as well. And especially if you don't have a lot of work currently, this is a great way to bolster it up and show, no, I can actually do this. I'm just here earlier in the game. So I actually incorporated this into my own portfolio when I started out because I did some great like styling shoots with people and I really loved those pictures. Honestly, I probably would have put it at the beginning of my portfolio if that was the right thing to do because it looked so nice. But it gave me a lot of work experience and that is just as important. So make sure you incorporate it if you do have it. If you have zero experience, that is totally okay, but you are going to be working your tail feather off to create this project because you are going to be creating at least 3 separate projects to put into your portfolio. The great thing about this is that you do have full creative and design freedom. You can showcase all of your best skills rather than having to do things that you may not be as good at. But I will say though, that it is really great to get a prompt from somewhere else so then you can kind of push yourself a little bit. Maybe use ChatGPT, do not use it for anything else other than prompts, but mention it if you do. So if you do use ChatGPT to create a client brief as a prompt, make sure you mention it within your actual portfolio because it's always best to be open and honest about where you got the briefing from and also how you got to the next stage. Do not use it for anything else. You've been warned.
I'm watching you, Wazowski.
So how do we actually lay out this design portfolio? There is a general structure that you should be following. Of course, there is a little bit of variety depending on what it is, but this is the general structure. So first of all, you have your cover page, which will typically have your name and the timeframes as to when you created those projects. It might even say design portfolio at the front as well, just to make it really obvious as to what it is. Sometimes as well, you can have a little sneak peek of what your projects look like and have like a little picture of one of your projects at the very front as well. Just make sure it is clean, simple lines and very elegant when you do this. The second page will be the contents page. So this will obviously explain how to navigate the portfolio. Make sure you do use page numbers because this is going to be a lot easier for someone to flick through and find the page that they are after. Our third page is going to be our little intro of self page. So this will just be a little description about yourself, who you are, what your personal design styles are, maybe a picture if you've got a really nice headshot, not necessary, but you do want to explain who you are and what your personal style is and what your level is as well. After this is where you add in the projects. So usually projects will be somewhere between 2 and 3 pages long. Usually it can be a little bit longer if you do have a lot that goes into it. But again, you don't want it to go for like 6 pages long for one particular project because it may not be the actual feature piece that you think it is. Like unless it's got all of the absolute perfect different skills set required, I wouldn't recommend going over 4 pages. So 2 to 3 is usually the average. Make sure that you do show a variety of different skills. So don't go ahead and fill it all up with mood boards or don't go ahead and fill it all up with just renderings. Make sure that you do use a variety of different skill sets so then they can really judge and see where you are. For each project, you do want to structure it the same way each time. So you'll have your title and description side, and then you'll have your working through, and then your final page will be the final reveal. So title and description, working through, final reveal, and keep that structure throughout the entire book. The next page is the creative add-ons page. Obviously, this one is an optional one. I wouldn't extend this further than 2 pages long though, so make sure you keep it short but showcase some of your best work if you do have it in these additional hobbies or areas. And finally, we have our closing page. This is the most important page because this is going to have your contact information that will get them to contact you again, just in case they don't have it elsewhere. And also just a little thank you message if you would like. If it doesn't feel professional to you, that is okay. That is an optional extra as well. Also, just a quick note, make sure that you are using grids for your layouts. You do want this to be as polished as physically possible. If you are worried about potentially doing a poor job with this, you can actually download design portfolio templates, and these are actually quite good. Obviously, this depends on your skill level. If you're not very good at graphic design, I would recommend this because otherwise you're going to be staring at InDesign for hours, not knowing whether or not this is the right layout for you. Now, as I said beforehand with the ChatGPT prompt, if you did a group project with anyone, potentially while you're at design school, make sure that you make that known. Make sure you really specifically say, this is the area of the project that I contributed to, and these are the people that contributed to the other areas of the project. You don't really want to pass anything off as if it's your own if you did not do it all yourself because, well, first of all, it's not ethical. It's not very nice to just pretend that somebody else didn't put in the work that they actually did. But as well, it really does showcase, okay, this is where your actual skills lie. It's not somebody else's skills that someone's going to mistaken for your own. So it's very, very important to be honest and open about that. So that will be in your description area usually if it is a group project that you are showcasing. The software that you're going to use is going to depend on a few key things. Whether or not you already have some software experience, what is common to your area, and whether or not you have the skills in itself. If you are someone that already has a skill in Canva, you may feel more confident building your portfolio in Canva instead of something like InDesign or Adobe Express or Notion. But in saying that, even if you do prefer Canva, it is a great idea to find out what is common for designers to use in your area. And a great way to do this is to go onto local Facebook groups and ask that question, because let's say you do use Canva, but everybody else uses InDesign, it would be great future-proofing wise and for you to integrate nicely into the community to learn that software. So even though you might start off with Canva, it'd be great to graduate to InDesign. When it comes to exporting, usually it's common to see it as a PDF, or of course, if it's a website, it'll stay as a website. But if you are wanting to take that PDF one step forward, you can actually turn it into a lookbook through websites like ISU, I think that's how it's called. And pretty much that is just going to reimagine it a little bit and have this like lookbook sort of effect. It's really quite cool. Personally, I don't use it. I'd rather have the consistency of a PDF. However, if you would like to go that next step further, this is a great addition. If you would like to see some portfolio inspiration, I would strongly suggest checking out websites like ISU or Behance. If you'd like to see my portfolio, check out this video after this. It is admittedly an older portfolio of mine. It has been updated since then. However, it does show you the exact structure and goes into a little bit more detail as to how to lay it out. So I do still highly recommend it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found some value in it, and I'll see you in the next design adventure.